audio. There we go. Am I back? Cool. Sorry, guys. My mic was turned down. All right. So we're back. Sorry about that. Looks like that's going. Let me restart cinema. So, lesson learned, don't set the aperture that low. Man, that sucked. So, like I said in the beginning of the stream, experimental, might get a crash. Totally just found a way to crash it. Um, but we'll get going again in just a second. Thanks for sticking around for everyone that did. I mean, me personally, I have a cold, but my computer seems to be feeling better now that I did a little restart. Yeah, don't get Kevin. Excuse me. To try and do things. All right, so while this is loading up, what's up, Claude? Hopefully, this is loading up. Initializing layout. Usually doesn't take this long. It's probably because I threw so much at it a second ago. So let's see if my recent file is cool. I'm going to open this up and we'll take a look at this one. I'll just jump right into here. And the reason I'm undocking this is just so it's easier to get to the new post effects. But you can still keep it docked. Don't like I normally do. It's just hidden in here, so that's why I've been doing this. All right, so let's go ahead and play this. So I've got two different cameras set up, and I was talking about this before a little bit, but to recap, that you can have individual options here, and that way you can have different takes and you can have different angles with different things all together. So before I crashed, we pretty much went through all these options here, so I just wanted to show you what happens with these different options on the camera and how awesome it is to have that. So go in here and let's say we want to have a bloom on this camera. So we can start to do that, bring the threshold down a little bit and maybe soften it up some more. We've got the intensity pretty high. Maybe this shot we want to have a flare and maybe the size, bring it down like that, bring the intensity up, and like we did before, we can move around. So that can be angle 1 and maybe just stylize the frame like that. And then if we jump into this one here, you'll see it goes away and we get into this. And then, so we can either just set everything up in here if we want to and start turning this stuff on. So I'm going to go ahead and just bring this down and have like a little bit of bloom in there. Maybe in the color controls, start to adjust some of this stuff here. And streaks, sure, we can have some streaks going on. We'll maybe make them really long on this side. But the nice thing is too is you can come in and you can start overriding some of this stuff too. So override this and bring the intensity way back up again. And maybe the tails are not as long as they were. Maybe we only want like 3 or 2 tails on here. So just really cool that they've added these options into both the camera tag and into the render view, so that way you can override stuff and really have full control of stuff. Let's see. Adam was asking if you can control it with takes. So I'm assuming you can. I'm going to go ahead and just try that. So we'll have a new take in here and yeah, override. So Adam, if you're still watching or you come back and watch this later, you can definitely set it with takes. What's up, Teddy? Excuse me. need like a cup of tea. So that's cool that you can definitely override this with takes as well. So you don't have to have multiple cameras if you want. With multiple tags, you can definitely do it all in here. So that's really cool. All right. So I know I crashed. I can't go back and see the chat before the crash. If you guys have any questions along the way, feel free to throw them at me. It's going to be like a normal Q&A session for the rest of this. What really freaked out your wife? The crash? But this is pretty much it. Oh, that I said your name. That's funny. I mean, you kind of are watching a tutorial. It's just live. So, yeah. Oh, you know what I want to show you, guys? That was cool. Is just the volumetrics in this as well. It's just pretty cool that it handles volumetrics with post really nicely too. I don't have my samples set up too high, just so it's a little bit faster, but you see it's kind of grainy, but it still handles it really nicely with volumetrics too. So like I said before, you don't have to re-render anything. So there's post effects right in there, nice and easy. And let's mess around with some of this stuff. Oh, that's getting hot. Getting hot. That's one thing too. If you have a high DPI monitor, it doesn't adjust the scale over here for the text, which kind of sucks. So just keep that in mind. Like I can't see what these actual numbers are at the moment. So I kind of have to go in and look. So it's at 275. I'll probably just try like 50. Maybe that's too strong. So 150. And let's see, we're at 8 f-stop. Why don't we try like 3.2? Oh yeah, really starting to blow that out. Allow for desaturation, which is great. We can crush our blacks a little bit too. Yeah, this is turning into like a nice little blown out parade. Does Alt Control change the value? Let's see. It does. It looks like it's a little less sensitive. Yeah, it seems to be jumping. If I do Control, same deal. Yeah, it seems to help a little bit by holding Alt. Or maybe I'm being more cautious. So I'll just do like 5. So yeah, for people that really like having God rays and volumetrics, this will give you even more control over that, which is really great. Which I've done tutorials on that in the past, but you can totally see what's happening here. Maybe I'll just let this clean up a little bit. But yeah, Teddy, it seems like if you hold Alt, it makes it a little less sensitive. If you use the overall overrides on the camera tag itself or in the global render settings, it still uses the native C4D interface. Not sure what you mean by that. Oh, okay, gotcha. Now I understand. Bring that out a little bit. So what else can we do to this? So we've got some of the same stuff that we've had before, saturation in there. Maybe that's just getting a little too strong. Pull that back. And maybe we want this bloom a little bit higher and softer, but a little less threshold in there. Otoy joined. Interesting. On Periscope. Yeah, I'm only popping it out at the moment, just because I've noticed it gets a little quirky when it's tucked in over here. Like this will drop over here, and then I try and get to it, and it just doesn't hold up as well. Um, so let's see. Maybe add a couple more tails on here, just make this look crazy. So if you guys have any questions as I'm going through this, or want me to step through something again, especially since I had to restart and uh, Kevin had me testing some stuff and it went crazy, let me know. But this is pretty much it. Like it's pretty straightforward. It holds up really well. Like I said in the beginning of the stream or the last stream, I don't know if it joined them together, but um, it's pretty dang stable if you start a new scene, and then if you go and open an old scene, you just want to make sure you update your tags and stuff. And so what I mean by that is, I don't know if I have an old scene in here. No. Basically, if you open an old scene and you have camera tags in there, you just want to replace them because it's going to freak out a little bit. It will update them and have like bloom and flare and streak in there, but it kind of it doesn't update it 100%. Like I said, it's still experimental, so it's just better to clear it all out and start fresh with new tags. Um, but other than that, except for like the Kevin crash that I just had, it holds up pretty well. I really like that it just it updates so nicely in real time, and you can still move around your scene and have that going, or you can just turn it off and keep it going that way. I'm just going to turn that off now, make it a little bit faster without the fog. There we go. So, what else? Maybe I don't think maybe I have access to my shader ball. Just doing a quick autosave. Turn this off for a second. If the exposure tab was used in the old scene file, it will produce bugs in the experimental build unless you remake the tags. All right, good to know. Yeah, it's probably just better to remake the tags in general. Let's see, probably in here. I've started archiving stuff, so now I'm trying to figure out where I've put some things, especially like my materials, because don't have them in the same spot anymore. Go to my Dropbox and texture pack 1. At least this way I can get a shader ball. No. There's a heart in here. That's not what I was looking for at all. I want to get a shader ball just so I can show you guys metals and like glints and reflections coming off those. White crystal. Okay, so pretty good deal here. And kill that. Just gonna take these tags off, like I said, since it's an older scene. And we will go do further back. All right, that should be good. So I'm just going to create a material, and why don't we just try car paint? Throw it on the shader ball there. I think all my lights are set up fine, right? All right, so let's see if my word holds up. I don't really want any GI on at the moment. Let's turn that off. Don't need any bucket rendering. Cool. And like light blue in there, or even like a silver blue, something like that. So we'll turn that on, and so yeah, I just want to show you like getting glints on things and how nice it is to have that. Billy, maybe next week, or not next week because I'm off, but the week after, you can come on and show what you've been doing with your cars. Excuse me, and talk about that because you've started to remake some of those scenes. but pull this back in here. You can see that we just get these nice little streaks and glares right in there. Just bring up the intensity. Maybe I'll turn down the bloom. And make these tails a little bit longer if you want. But really quickly, just add in some nice little touches, and we can bring in the flare to maybe bring that down a bit, and then the halo. Of course, it's based on where the camera is, so if I move, it's going to change all that. So we'll just go back to here. And maybe we want like a blue. Blue, there we go. There, maybe a little bit of red in there. A mid-gray. Let's see if it will let me. It's all right. I'll make a new one. And scene, plane. There we go. Maybe even darker, like a 5%, something like that. A little bit better, Billy. Yeah, I think if I go into my color controls or photographic, there we go. Allow desaturation, that will help a little bit too. There you go. So you can see that we've got like a little bit of our halo in there. Got some glint coming off there now too. Come in here and we can start to adjust our color controls a little bit. Bring that in there. Maybe bring up our mids. Put that in there. Like that. It's looking decent. But maybe the car paint, we'll just do like 5%. Oh no, that's not the base layer, is it? I want, okay, 5% there, base specular, bring that back up. And flakes, density, bring that up a little bit. You can see some more flakes in there, and some scale. There they are. Maybe this will help with some of the glint too. There we go. I think this here. Let's bring that down. And we'll add a little bit of bloom in the scene too, because why not? So yeah, just really nice to have these controls in here now. I like how many options they've put into them too. Start playing around with some of this. I think some of this bouncing around again is because I'm on a high DPI screen and hasn't scaled properly. There we go. And so you really start to play around with that and do whatever you want, but yeah, just adds another layer that you can do right here in the render view instead of having to hop into Compositor afterwards. But I'm hoping that the seeming plan of having everything baked into a separate AOV is true, and maybe they'll break it out individually. It's hard to say, but if you are a Redshift user and you want to try this out, it's in the forum right now. So it's based on the most recent build of 2.6.23. So this is 2.6.23 underscore post effects because it is this experimental build. But it's totally open to everyone now if you're a user, and you head over to the forum and you can give your feedback and tell them what you want them to do for the AOV pass, and really get involved. They've been working on this now for like 6 months or even longer. At least it's been in a private beta for about that long. So now they finally rolled it out to the public. So that's pretty awesome. I'm hoping that by November, when Redshift 3.0 comes out, knock on wood, that's when it's actually going to come out. This will just be built into that by that point. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for things to show off. What's up, Chad? Oh man. So, questions if anyone has them, or I'm just gonna keep messing around and seeing what else we can build and break, and hopefully not have to reboot again. Excuse me again. Trying to get over this little head cold thing, so I'm sorry for the coughing. Yeah, maybe I'll just open up my first scene again and just walk through building that neon since I crashed during that. I have to have some fun sometimes, Chad. Especially all the stress that I've been under with render engine that shall not be named. All right, so for this, for just like quick neon, since I crashed before, I already walked through all this, but I created this little post effects thing in Illustrator, brought it in here, and it's just a sweep. And then I've got an area light on here too. Now the cool thing about post effects is you can use an area light, or we can make an incandescent material and it still works. So why don't I just show you that? We'll turn this off and throw that on there. And you can still see that we have, yeah, it is healthy. Redshift and like 50 milligrams of Arnold. But it's pretty cool that it still works with these kind of incandescent materials. So we can move this around here and start to play with that and get back to where we were. The only reason I did an area light before is because I was going to mess around with having the environment in there. Billy's saying, side note, it looks like they're adding the render settings info into the snapshots, then allowing you to show what the difference is between snapshots. So yeah, I've heard that too. I haven't messed around with it. Let me just see. So they have this info down here. Oh, you can make notes in here by double clicking. That's cool. I really wish this scaled better for high DPI screen like that. I'm gonna keep pushing on that. So if I make adjustments now, it should work. It should. It doesn't seem to tell me what I was using, but maybe it does somewhere. You can at least load post. Oh, so that's cool. All right, so it looks like it's trying to load this, but not actually. And I don't know if that's just like a high DPI button thing, but it's trying to go back to the other one. You see that, Billy? It's trying. It's doing a little dance, probably giving someone a seizure at the moment with that. Why? Set A, set B. Huh. Doesn't look like it's quite working for this snapshot thing either, but that's okay. Yeah, flickering light preset. Just need to tie it into some espresso. But yeah, so quick neon, totally easy now. I'm gonna turn this off. Maybe, well, let me get rid of this. Come on. Somewhere you'll let me. Do I need to go back? No, not picture view, not that. How do I clear this? I'm breaking things, Billy. There we go. Snapshot configuration. What is this? Oh, that's cool. I have loaded LUTs. I actually have the LUT that you gave us, Chad, loaded in here just because it works so damn well. Um, it's awesome. But let me see. I think I have the GSG LUTs in here. Yeah. Do like a cinematic one. Why don't we do Ripley? Yeah, that LUT is awesome. Um, it almost seems to match this a little bit, this Ripley one, looking at it, but not completely. But yeah, um, pretty cool. I really like that it's just like so intuitive, and then like also that you can convert to log too, which gives you a lot more control depending on your workflow or like how you want to apply it. Like apply color management before, convert to log, just like a lot of cool stuff in here. I really like just having a curve editor in here too. I kind of wish we had an option between curves and levels. Not that it really matters. It's pretty much the same thing. I put the GSG LUTs in the Photoshop directory for LUTs, then always point my RV to that directory just so I can mouse through and scroll through the list. Yeah, that's a good idea. I honestly I need to switch computers. I'm still using my old machine for a lot of work at the moment. I haven't made the full leap over just because I don't want to have to deal with relinking things to like a network drive. Since I'm going to have two computers running now, but yeah, get some nice mids in there. But yeah, as I was saying before, you can do this with incandescent. It picks up that just fine. You can use an area light. So if I pull this back off here and have the area light back on, I think it's still, yeah. Got that going, and let's do a quick reload. And then if you throw an environment in like we did with the other scene, it can be really nice, especially with this area light. So if we go into volume, crank this up, then I like to turn this down here. That way you can get a little bit more control out of it. And maybe like 0.5. There we go. So yeah, just adding like a little bit of volumetrics and bloom and stuff in here just adds like a little bit more depth and just a lot of fun. There we go, something like that. Let's go over the top for these streaks. Ooh, well, you know what? I'm in R20. I don't think I've installed HDRI Link, but I can at least go to get that or go to that directory. That should be all right. Kill this for a second and hide this. Come in here. And where is he? Good old Iron Giant that I generally use. Let's see. Dropbox, software backup, Ultimate Skies. I think I like 76, and that was one of my favorites. Get that out of here. Why? Do I not have it? That's not right. It should be showing as the background, right? Just like a little bug. Why isn't it showing as the background? All right, we'll put it like this. Interesting. It is not wanting to show up the background. Enable background. Is there anything in here that I need to? No. All right, I'm going to create a new scene. See if I can get the dome light to work. All right, that seems to be working now. 76. There we go. All right, that must have just been a weird hiccup. And bring this guy back in here. Oh yeah. Just throw a quick whatever on him. Make this iron because it's the Iron Giant. All right, Chad, I'm taking your word for this. Let's see. Where's the sun coming from over here? We'll rotate him around a little bit. Come on. There we go. And bring this threshold down just a bit. Yeah, this is pretty rockin' Chad. Yeah, I think it was just a weird hiccup with the scene. Who knows? I'm expecting weird hiccups for this, especially since this is still an experimental build. All right. All right, Chad, I'm digging your idea of using this. That is pretty rockin'. Put this metal on this, see if I can get some more reflection off that. No. I like 20. That's just becoming ridiculous at this point. All right, set it back to that. No, I don't want those. I want Color management. Interesting. Okay, never mind. I'm just losing my mind apparently. That mid there. Lower that down in there a little bit. Yeah, I'll lower. I'm liking that. I'm liking how we get this little streak right in there. Just barely lighting up the face a bit. Let's try another one. Now that I've got the whole folder, I can't see what they are, but I can at least flip through. Ooh, that's kind of cool. So these are all the cinematic ones. Let's go in. Try battle warmth. There we go. What is this at? Let's try it at like 22. 15. There we go. Allow for desaturation. Maybe just throw in a little vignette for the hell of it. And what did I say this is at? 15. Maybe try 10. That's too bright. 12. Right in there. Yeah, this is starting to become too fun. Throw an environment tag and 005, something like that. Dome light. It's all right. Are the GSG LUTs worth it? Yeah. I mean, I think anything that can make your workflow faster is worth it, in my opinion. Um, it's definitely great for like look development, and if you're trying now, like with this, if you're trying to develop some boards really fast for a client, like why not have a bunch of LUTs where you can just like really quickly flip through and see different options, like I said, there's nothing better than just excuse me, being able to quickly go through something. Let's see, warm contrasty, we'll do this. Oh, now it's starting to look like a summer day, but I think HDRIs, especially the skies are amazing. And then LUTs, if you're doing boards really fast and you want to have lots of different styles for a client, then sure. The skies, I would say like go get them, like go get them as soon as you can, because I use them all the time. Pro color. Let's see what we got in here. Kind of want to go back to that wartime one. What was that cinematic? And what was that specialty? Battle warmth. There we go. They're usable in different compositors, also well worth. Yeah, so anywhere that accepts a LUT, you can use these. So right here in Redshift, Octane, Cycles. I don't know. I'm not sure if standard and physical have LUT in there. I completely forget. It's been so long since I've tried anything like that. But then Photoshop, um, Premiere, Resolve, Fusion, Nuke, anywhere that you can have LUTs, you can plug them in there. So uh, definitely worth checking out. That's cool. I don't know that I would have the patience to shoot my own HDRIs. The nice thing about the Sky ones is they're not shot. They are like they're manufactured. I think Sean Astrom helped develop them, and so they have. Man, Chad, if you're still in you're in the chat. I think there's like 16 stops, right, or something crazy like that. So like when you're talking about high definition range, like I think it's like 15 or 16 stops that were manufactured into these, so you really get that range, and that's really hard to pull off when you shoot your own. Ooh, so now we're getting that halo. Chad, you've been playing around with this for a little while. Maybe you can answer the question. Somebody was asking, can you control the aperture size or shape of the halo here? And I haven't been able to find that anywhere. Just like chromatic kind of does it, and size does it too, but you can't actually control the roundness of it. A crap load of stops is the official count. Yeah, I thought that was the official count too. Let's see if I bring this back down a little bit. Yeah, I kind of like that. I might even just render that out. Let's see how that cleans up. I probably don't have anything set up for rendering, do I? Nope. It's a brand new scene. Just do 512 and 32. I'll be fine. What are you doing? Come on. There we go. There's no way to customize the shape. Okay. Yeah, that we tried doing that earlier, and it ended up bringing down the stream. So that wasn't great. All right, so I'm going to scroll through the chat. It's getting to be... Oh, okay. See you, Chad. I just saw your TTYL, so I'll talk to you later, man. Let's see. Any questions that came up above? No. All right. Oh, wait. Billy does have a question. Is Octane dead? I mean, I don't know that Octane is dead. They both have a purpose. You know, I think from what I've seen in a couple slacks of like just how wild west desert the Octane channel has become, it's kind of a hint, and how active the Redshift channels have become is a little bit of a hint. I don't know. I still think there's going to be arguments for both. This is still experimental, so you still have to do post effects currently inside of a compositor. There's still that argument to be made until this is an official build, but I mean, there's so many production ready things inside of Redshift that you just can't get in Octane, that I think people are starting to notice that, especially for freelance artists that really need to take advantage of cloud rendering until render token comes out, if and when it comes out and is available to everyone. there really isn't an option besides building second, third, fourth, fifth PCs and rendering that way and spending a bunch of money that way. And it's not really sustainable for a small business or freelancer. Um, Now, like a mid-sized studio, like already been chewed, that's another story where they're definitely investing back into themselves and they're building their own farm. Um, then I guess there's something to be said there. Like if you already have your farm, then maybe Octane is fine for you, but that it I like to crap on all the render engines evenly, so I definitely think each one has a place somewhere. I think each one has strengths and is better at doing certain things than others. So I don't think it's necessarily dead, but I think people are considering trying other options, especially with post effects now being in here. So you think you found a bug when rolling back to 2.6.22? RS doesn't load in my plugins list. Interesting. I had to roll back to 2.6.23, just normal, and inside my render settings, post effects showed up and there was nothing there, so I just had to delete it out of my scene. Kind of like when you've rendered with another render engine and it leaves something hanging around there, you just have to delete it out so you stop getting an error. So maybe that will fix it, Billy, but let me know if you get stuck. So yeah, I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'm sorry for the crash that happened earlier. That's what happens when you have an experimental build. It will bring down your machine or lock up, especially when you start cranking the settings really far in areas you shouldn't be cranking them. But yeah, thanks for hanging out this week. We'll be back in 2 weeks. So with this new quote unquote season, I'm doing every 2 weeks instead of every week. So that will be, let me see what the date is on that, October 18th. So come hang out. And I mentioned earlier to Billy, I don't know if he heard it or not, but if he wants to come on and start showing some of his post effects workflow for his cars, because he started showing that on Instagram. I think he reposted some older work, but now updated with post effects. Maybe we'll do that on the 18th. And also leave suggestions about topics you want us to cover on these chats, because you guys pretty much run how this is gonna play out. So if you have any topics that I haven't covered before, feel free to ask. I am planning possibly to start remaking some of the older tutorials. I think I might wait until Redshift 3 is out, because that's supposed to be out next month. But there's been so much stuff that's come out since last year when I started making tutorials, I think that there's room for an update. All right, anyway, I've just been rambling on, so thanks so much for hanging out, and I will talk to you guys soon. See ya.